If you're still entering trades because it looks good, you're literally burning your money. In this video, I'm going to give you the exact model that I use to nail perfect entries. I'm in on buys. I'm out. All right, we're good, chat. This is the same model that allowed me to get 6 figures in funding in just 6 days. But first, I want to talk about why 90% of traders get their entry completely wrong. You've been in this position before where you see price moving and you think, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take a buy. And 5 minutes later, you get stopped out because you had a feeling that it was a good trade, not knowing what the exact entry was supposed to even be. This happens because most traders don't have a defined entry trigger. That means that they're trading on feelings and not the data. And let me tell you, the market is going to punish you for trading with your feelings. The market doesn't care about your feelings. So how do you know what's the right entry for each trade? Well, I'm going to give you the step-by-step model here, and I actually have a full playbook of this step-by-step model. So if you want the full playbook, comment blueprint down below and I'll send it to you. And I trade this exact system live every day in our VIP, and our members were able to capitalize on this with us. So not only was I able to get 6 figures in funding, but this was all done live in front of our team, step by step. So if you want to be along with us and a part of the process and learn how this system works in depth, you can join the VIP. The link is in the description down below. Let's get into the strategy. I've spent years backtesting, refining, and simplifying my approach, and I found a system that works not just once, but over and over again repetitively. Okay, so for step one, we need to identify what are we trading. So there are 4 assets that we're going to be looking at. This is going to be gold, NAS 100, US 30, and the S&P 500. And why we want to look at these pairs in particular is because they offer consistent volume. And so they offer this consistent volume in our session time, and our session time is going to be the New York session, and we're specifically going to be trading from 9:30 to 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to give you a tool that's going to show you exactly what I mean. So if you come over to your indicators tab here and type in FX market session, you want to click on the FX market session. So when I pull up this FX market session, you can see the New York session specifically and the volume that we have in this session here. You can see a lot of volume, some volume, choppy markets, volume, choppy markets, volume, choppy markets, choppy markets, volume. You get the picture? There's a lot of consistent volume in this market session. So to get this indicator, like I said, head over to the indicators tab, type in FX market session. When you type in the FX market session, you're going to want to make some adjustments here. So you're going to open it up here. You want to uncheck the London session, uncheck the Tokyo session, and uncheck the Sydney session as well. The only session you want to leave checked is this New York session here. And you want to go ahead down here and save this as a default so that every time it pops up. Also, you want to go ahead and change the history from 10 to 100. By changing it to 100, you now can see the previous 100 days or even the past 1,000 New York sessions, and you can go through and just see how consistent in volume this is. This will also be great for identifying which session you're in. I think it's a great tool. And if you think that's a great tool, stay to the end of the video because I'm going to give you another indicator that is going to make trading this strategy 100 times easier. So we want to make sure that we're trading that 9:30 to 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. This is very important. So the next question we want to ask ourselves is, what is the market condition? And I'll explain what that is here. So we want to identify which market structure we're in. Are we in a bullish market structure, a bearish market structure, or ranging? And why this is important is because this system has a 69% win rate with a 1 to 3 average. A bullish market structure is going to be indicated by price creating higher highs and higher lows. So that means our highs are higher than our previous highs and our lows are higher than our previous lows. Same thing with the bearish. We're going to be creating lower lows and lower highs. That means our lows are lower than our previous lows and our highs are lower than our previous highs. A range bound market is indicated by a creation of a high and low that continues to get invalidated. And invalidation is if we break a high and then come back down to break a low. We go back up to break a high, we break a low. This is an indication that price is in a range bound market. And this is very, very important to identify because with this system, 71% of losses happen in a range. So you can cut out 71% of losses by simply not trading on rangy days. Now, what is this going to do in terms of your P&L? Well, in terms of your win rate, this is going to increase your 69% win rate to now an 88 0.5% win rate, a nearly 90% win rate just by cutting out 71% of losses in the range bound markets. So what do we need in terms to be able to trade? We need volume and a clear direction on the markets. And you want to identify which market condition you're in on the 4-hour time frame specifically. Is the 4-hour time frame bullish or is it bearish? And that's going to help to indicate your directional bias. So after we set our directional bias, you want to go to your 5-minute time frame and mark out your key areas of interest. So in this case, we're looking for a buy. So we're going to mark out our key area high. And what we need to wait for is for price to break and close above this key area high. And that's when we're going to look to scale in on the next 5-minute candle and get our continuation. Now, this is going to be how we get our entry for every single trade. And how this entry works specifically is you want to identify on the 1-minute time frame. So now after our 5-minute candle closes above our key area of interest, you want to dial down now to the 1-minute time frame. And on the 1-minute time frame, the market structure is going to look something like this. So we had just broken close above our key area of interest. You can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles here. So this is our 5-minute candle, the candle closing here. You want to wait until the first bullish candle of the next 5-minute. Why we want to wait for this is because that's going to put us in this bottom wick of this next 5-minute candle and anticipate price to continue pushing with volume. Why we want to wait for this breakout is important because we have resistance here. And when price can break above resistance, generally it breaks with volume. That's why we want to make sure that we have volume already in determining whether we're in a bullish or bearish market. A range bound market is not going to have a lot of volume. So we need to identify where that volume is going and look to capitalize on that volume as a continuation. And how we scale into this trade is on the first 1-minute candle that closed bullish. So you can see this first candle in the start of the new 5-minute closed as a bearish candle. We don't scale in on that. We got to wait. Then we get this bullish candle to close here, and that's where we want to scale in at. Not to mention, this 1-minute candle is not only going to be our key area of interest to scale in, but it also comes with a set stop loss, because all we have to do now is set our stop loss below that key candle's low, right? So we either want to set it below the key candle low or the current 5-minute candle low, whichever one it is. So if our 5-minute candle immediately begins to push up, we want to set it below there. Generally, rule of thumb is going to be below our key candle low there. And then what are we anticipating? We're anticipating price to continue with volume. When price begins to run at a 1-to-1 risk to reward, you want to go ahead and move your stops to break even. So by moving our stops to break even at that 1-to-1 risk to reward, this is going to help us protect ourselves from 62% of losses. Now, after we run to at least a 1-to-2 risk to reward, we want to scale out after the first 1-minute candle closes bearish. And so you can see this allows us to capitalize on more of the trend. A lot of traders will tell you to close at a 1-to-2. We want to allow this system to run. We know that it consistently runs at a 1-to-3 risk to reward average. So knowing that, we want to give this trade the ability to run a little bit further, because it could end up running to a 1-to-4 or 1-to-5. And we see a lot of our trades run some into the 1-to-6, 1-to-7 areas of interest, right? So we're going to let this run for as much profit as possible and scale out after that first 1-minute candle closes bearish, following our 1-to-2 risk to reward being hit. And that allows us to now, instead of going from a 1-to-2 risk to reward and just closing at a 1-to-2, we now are able to make that 1-to-3 risk to reward. And this will allow you to capitalize on 72% of the trending moves in our session time. So now that you have an understanding of how the system works, we're going to take a deep dive into one of the trades that I took this week using this exact system. And then after we break down the trade that I took this week, I'm going to show you guys the live recording of the trade that I took that allowed me to pass this 100K funding account in just 6 days. I trade live every single day with our members in the VIP. So if you want to gain a better understanding of this system, you want to stop failing your challenges, you want to start making consistent payouts, going into the VIP and joining is how you're going to be able to do that, because you will be able to trade live with me every single day, getting my full support and helping you push you towards getting your desired results, which is making consistent payouts. That's what we're here to do, is make consistent money. So let's get into the trade that allowed me to make $1,000 using this exact system. So coming into our session on Tuesday, you can see that price was kind of in this range bound market structure. You can see here, this was our 9:30 open here. Price began to spike up, but notice what happens here. Price was creating a high, it created a low, it created a higher high. That makes this now our key low. That means if this low and area of interest is broken, this now shifts from being in a bullish market structure to now being in a bearish market structure. This is a very basic principle that we use in our system. Now we know that price has flipped this structure from being bullish and creating higher highs and higher lows to creating now lower lows and lower highs with this move that broke through this previous low. As long as price doesn't break this high, price remains in a bearish market structure. So we know that coming into the markets. What are we waiting for? Price pushes all the way back up here, and right here is where we make that key low, which is our key 5-minute area of interest. And you can see we're waiting for price to close below this level here. So you can see price closed below this level here, breaking through this. And what did we do? We scaled in after the first 1-minute candle closed bearish. Unfortunately, TradingView won't let me dial down to the 1-minute time frame as too much data has passed by, but that area of interest was right here where we ended up taking our 1-minute candle, and then we looked for a continued move to the downside. We moved our stops to break even at the 1-to-1 risk to reward. So at the 1-to-1 stops to break even, very, very simple. Price ran to a 1-to-2, and we scaled out after the first 1-minute candle closed bullish following that. And that was within this 5-minute candle here where we got that first 1-minute candle close. So you can see here a 1 to almost 4 risk to reward just by utilizing this system. And I was able to make $1,000 on this trade. So now that you guys have seen the system and how I implemented this week, I'm going to show you the live trade that allowed me to pass my 100K in funding utilizing, like I said, this exact system, step by step, every single day, the same thing. I'm in on buys, stops below the low, looking for price to target up to the high. All right, hold on, chat. We getting close. We getting close. Let this say 1900. We out of there. Make sure I'm still above. Make sure I'm still above. I'm down. I'm out. So for those of you who stayed to the end of the video, I promised you guys a tool that is going to make trading this system 100 times easier, because the hardest thing when executing this system is simply missing out on trades. And I used to miss out on a lot of trades because I would simply be looking at the wrong time frame. So I'm going to show you a tool that's going to help you eliminate this problem. So if you come back over to your indicators tab over here, you want to search up higher time frame power of 3. Now, when you pull this up, you're actually going to be able to get this candle here. And why this candle is so important, and what I do is set mine to the 5-minute candle. So you want to go into here, you want to change your time frame to the 5-minute candle. You can set it up how you want it to do. And why this is important is because this is going to show you the current 5-minute candle that is forming and the time that it has left until it closes. Why? Because you will now not have to wait on the 5-minute time frame. You can stay on the 1-minute time frame and wait for your 1-minute entry to form right after your 5-minute candle closes. And this is going to help you not miss out on trades, because simply having this 5-minute candle here will help you to see, okay, is the 5-minute candle closing bullish above my key area of interest? If it is, I scale in on that next 1-minute candle, and the 1-minute is already up in front of you along with your 5-minute time frame right there with you as well. So this is going to help you, like I said, not to miss out on any trades. I'm telling you, I used to miss out on so many trades because I would just be looking at the 1-minute time frame and not knowing that the 5-minute candle just closed, and I would miss my entry because the 1-minute candle starts to take off without me, right? And so you will be able to know exactly when your 5-minute candle closed and still be monitoring the 1-minute time frame so that you can go ahead and get your entry. Because sometimes after the 5-minute candle close, that first next 1 minute might be your entry candle, and you don't want it to leave without you. So you got to know which candle is the one to get in at. So this tool right here is going to help tremendously in that area. So I hope you guys were able to understand how I managed to get the perfect entries for every trade I take using this same system over and over and over again. This is not subjective. It is a designed system where you get in at a specific area and zone. And by utilizing this system and implementing it, you will be able to start passing your funding challenge, getting those consistent payouts, being able to, free yourself from your 9 to 5 just by executing this one simple system every single day. And if you want to learn more about the system in depth and trade live with me personally every single day, 9:30 to 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. We trade live in our VIP. The link is down in the description below. And if you want to see how I was able to pass my 100K in funding in just 6 days utilizing this system, you can click this video right here.